Hello and welcome to Beyond the Point podcast with me, Ali Christensen. I'm curating the content I wish I had had as a dancer and creating strong, healthy, thriving dancers for the future. Not only am I your host and ex-professional dancer, but I own Align Fitness here in Huntington Beach, California, and I'm the creator of online courses for dancers such as lower body flexibility and turnout for dancers. It's the end of Strength Month and actually our last episode of the season. I am going to take a little season break. I was originally going to do 12 episodes for this season and kind of quote, see how it goes. But the response that you guys had was overwhelming. And I knew that I wanted to continue with this free gift that I could give the dance community for dancers, parents, and teachers alike. We are now on episode 30. So it was really hard to stop. You guys, I loved bringing these people onto the podcast. I learned so much. And then hearing from you guys after each episode and how much you were learning and enjoyed different guests and the things that you would comment on and pull out of the episode that I hadn't even really thought of was so wonderful. So I was going back and listening to pieces of the episodes and going over the comments and messages about each podcast and the guests. Some of you guys are longtime subscribers and have listened to every episode, and some of you pop in here and there, and when you see a topic that intrigues you, you jump in. Both are fantastic. I have podcasts that I listen to regularly, and I have ones that I pop into randomly. As I was going through, it struck me how all of the episodes are talking about strength in some way. Of course, I know this because I designed it, but it was so nice to see that I had succeeded a little bit in this goal. As I say each week in the intro, I say I'm curating the content I wish I had had as a young dancer and creating strong, healthy, thriving dancers for the future. That strong, healthy, thriving dancers is major. And the reason that I decided to do this free podcast and this platform that I could continue to pull in experts in areas that I don't know as much about and people who are wiser than myself to share with you guys. So I was so happy to go back at the end of this Strength Month where we've been talking particularly about a certain type of strength and see that the strength that this podcast is bringing to you guys and what I'm getting feedback from is that we're hitting all of the things. We're talking physical, mental, and emotional. And that means so much to me because that is my goal. And in next season, I will continue to bring that as we go forward. So if you've missed some of the episodes, I wanted to share the episodes that you guys had the biggest responses to and some of my favorites. Maybe you'll hear an episode that you didn't even know existed, or you'll think, oh my gosh, I need to re-listen to that one. So in no particular order, on our last episode of season 1, I'm going to share the highlights that you guys have shared with me of the season and then some of my favorites. This Strength Month was by far the most response I've gotten from any of the episodes. The entire month, you guys have reached out so much and I have loved it. I had no idea that it would be such a hot topic, that you guys would identify with it so much. I had no idea. So it was really fun to share one of my passions with you guys and have such a response to it. This month we had episode 26 was the things dancers should never do. And I use that quote, never. The things dancers should quote, never do. This was the first episode of Strength Month in April. And this was me actually just talking about my frustrations in finding answers with my own hip injuries, how long it took me, what I had tried, how much money I had spent, where I actually found answers and how that led me down my path. So throughout this whole season, I've, here and there, I've definitely shared some of my ups and downs, past injuries, and dealing with being in the dance world, leaving the dance world, working with dancers. And I hadn't shared a lot about what actually worked for me and what led me into the cross-training realm that I do now. So in this episode, to kick things off, I shared more of my journey and how it actually came down to me being in charge of my movement and finding the practitioners, the doctors, the movement coaches that were assisting me to build a foundation and a base instead of having things done to me externally or passively, like some passive care things that we use. And those things are very applicable in certain scenarios, but after finding little to no success with them, that's what led me into this realm and realized that this was a huge missing piece in the dance world. It definitely was in my training, and that really propelled me forward into finding the information that I now am sharing with you guys and always continuing to learn more. The next episode, episode 27, Dr. Gonzalez came on, and he was the doctor that actually gave me that first step into taking care of my torn labrum. His perspective was something that you guys loved. So we went back and forth sharing that same journey, but kind of from his perspective. So coming in, being frustrated, having tried all these things, and when him filling in the missing pieces and going forward. And he talked a lot about different types of injuries, but really about hip injuries, back injuries. That's his specialty. So you guys reached out to him. He let me know that he had several people reach out, and some of you guys book sessions with him virtually. And that's so exciting to me because he was someone who really assisted me, and I still see him every day because we work in the same office, assisting people with their injuries, hip, back. And then when my dancers come to him, seeing great success. So I was really happy that you guys loved that and that it gave you another resource, because I think that that's what all of this is about, is collecting resources, knowing that you have a place to come to ask questions, that you have a place to come and look for answers, and then B, that there are people who can assist you with your problems. I had quite a few of you reach out after that first episode and this episode saying, oh my gosh, I've been going through this for years, for months, and I have not had answers. Nothing has worked. I haven't gotten better. I'm thinking of surgery. So I was really, really happy that I could give you guys Dr. Gonzalez along with other practitioners throughout this whole season to assist you. You guys shared that some of your biggest takeaways from that episode with Dr. Gonzalez was that you don't have to spend forever waiting for results and that you have to do the work. So he shared that there's a time frame we should be looking at when we're working with practitioners and seeing some type of result. And if you're not seeing that type of result, it may not be the thing you need right now. And I think that turned on a light bulb for a lot of people, as it did for me back 12 years ago. So really, really nice to hear you guys share that. Throughout this month, we also talked about my new Dancer Strong program. That's a strength program for dancers throughout the whole year, and the ability to go back and forth with me and send me videos and follow a program day by day as to what you should do. And you guys are amazing, because the response that I got from listeners who then reached out and decided to step into the program. So within this month, I've got messages that I am they just make my heart grow 10 sizes, because I know the feeling that you guys are talking about when you're like, oh my gosh, I have found the thing. So one dancer said, I just wanted to tell you that I feel so lucky that I discovered you and for letting me see the training, dance, and health in a completely new perspective. I feel even in the 4th week that my body has so much more power, and I feel like I can move more freely. I'm so ready to return to dance better and with more knowledge and understanding of my body. Love that. So happy to hear that. A mom reached out to me shortly after I had posted something that one of you had said about the course. And she said she has been feeling so strong and was just saying this a couple hours ago. The results from her program are becoming apparent already. Checking in regularly is amazing and keeps her motivated. The excitement of feeling the difference is really rewarding. Thank you. I know, it's so exciting to see results. And so this makes me so happy that what I put my heart and soul into, you guys are seeing results, and that I'm getting messages like this from parents and from teachers and from kids who are doing the program. Another dancer messaged me from the program and said, I just wanted to let you know how much I'm loving your warm-up workouts. Today I noticed my shoulders were not gripping. I could feel my back and core, and my hip flexors weren't gripping. So that's a big thing that most dancers experience. And so hearing that in the first month, we're able to tackle some of that and reset some of those habits, super exciting. Hey guys, I have so many messages from you guys that I can't highlight right now, but I will share one more quick one that just messaged me and said, hi, I just wanted to say that so far I think the program is great. It's amazing how important the basics are and how much we have neglected them. I feel like I'm working in a way that I've never worked before, a lot smarter, and you explain everything very well. So those of you that have stepped into the program, whether that's through listening to this podcast or by coming to my free workouts on Instagram over the last month or so, thank you so much for trusting me. And I'm confident in what I've put into this program and what I've put out to you, making sure that this is something that you guys have touch points through the entire year, making sure that you have a plan every single day for an entire year of exercises to do, things to think about in the studio, and different aspects to bring into your day, from being able to reach out to me and have that back and forth so we can make sure that you're actually training correctly and we're building on a strong base, to building your knowledge now so that when you are done in this program at a year, you are a stronger, smarter, healthier dancer and you know how to take care of yourself. That's what I put into it. That's what I'm so happy you guys are seeing the results for. And it just tied in perfectly with Strength Month. And I'm so grateful that you guys are trusting me, and I'm so happy you're seeing results. So as you're listening to this episode, whether it's the day it launches or sometime in the future, and you are interested in what this program has to offer and want to know more details, reach out to me. My goal is to help as many dancers as possible, and this is one way that I could assist you. So if you want to know more, you can always reach me at info@Align Fitness by Ali, or on, of course, my Instagram, Align Fitness by Ali, there. So Strength Month was a huge success, which I'm so happy about. I am so happy you guys loved it. And I will have to make sure that when we get into season 2, that we have more specific topics to share with you guys and pull in experiences from myself and other professionals. But that's not all that you guys loved. As I went through the episodes, I want to highlight some of the ones that I hope you didn't miss. And if you did, I recommend that you go back and listen to them. The first one, again, in no particular order of loving, but just the highest loved ones by you guys, was episode 5 with Rachel Fine. This one actually was towards the beginning and we had tech issues, but that did not stop you guys from loving it. Every dancer has some type of eating thing. We all think of food differently than the average person does. I realized that when I stopped dancing years later and I started to look around and be like, I don't think that everyone thinks about food this way. So having Rachel come on, she really works with dancers in their mindset, not only about what they're putting in their body, but why we should be putting it in our body, how we could be thinking about it, and dealing, of course, with those eating issues that all dancers have on varying degrees. So this is a must listen to for dancers and parents. She is a great resource, and you can find her on Instagram at To The Point Nutrition. Also, episode 4 was goal setting, and gosh, did you guys like this episode? I understand why, because I think that goals are just challenging to keep in general. And maybe one of the reasons that you guys liked this is because I laid out a system of how I do it, how I set goals with my dancers, how I set goals in real life, from work to personal to dance, whatever they are. So that was a really popular one in giving you a little bit of a layout of how you can start to think about your goals and lay them out so that you can actually reach them, and we stop, quote, failing to get to them and we forget about them, or they're unrealistic for the time frame that you set. Episode 10 was all about collagen and what our bodies are made of and what we put into it. This is a topic that I am super passionate about because I spent so long being duped. That's the bottom line. I felt so duped when I realized, when I started doing the research about what collagen was, that there were different types. I didn't even know there were different types. And that one is 90% of our body and the other, like 28 types, are only 10% tied together, all culminated 10%. And guess what my collagen was when I realized that? It was all the other types. It was not the one that was 90% of our body. So that has become a little side hobby of learning about the effects of collagen. And I got to share it with you guys on the podcast. And I'm so happy to see in the results and the questions that I still get. I love when I can tell that someone has listened because they email me and say, hey, I wanted to know a little bit more about this. What you recommend? Where do you go? Da, 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 da. Yeah, I love it. So that was an episode that I think is super important because collagen is in every cell of our body. It's what our body is made of, and we need it to to reproduce our cells, to have strong bodies, to have functioning organs, brain, tissue. Everything in our body is made of collagen. So check that one out if you haven't listened to that one. Episode 19 was Myths of Flexibility. This one was a wildly popular one, as it goes well into an introduction into my flexibility course that is online. This is a great resource to pass along to teachers, friends, and yourself if you have questions of why is my stretching only taking me so far? Is it okay that it always hurts? If parents, you're like, is it okay that my teachers or my kids' teachers are pushing down on my kids' legs? Why are they stuck? Why does this hurt? What is stretching actually? We're going through all that and more in the 9 myths of flexibility. And that episode is one that I think every dancer needs to listen to. Every parent needs to listen to, because there are better ways to stretch and there are really not good ways to stretch. And spoiler alert, a lot of what is being taught commonly in the dance world is like evidence-based, not good for you. So this is one that we should all pass along and listen to. Other highlights from the podcast were the wonderful guests that came on. There's been so many amazing chats that I've had with dancers, choreographers, everything across the dance gamut. We had So You Think You Can Dance Alex Wong, who's been on Broadway, So You Think You Can Dance, TV, commercials. He had a classical career. He is still rocking and rolling, and you can find him on Instagram. More artists like Dakota Adon, who is amazing. I love talking with him. He was a dancer with Britney Spears for 4 years. He has traveled the world. He is someone who creates his reality and is very successful at it. And listening to him is so inspiring. Absolutely so inspiring. And he is so wise. So that is a great one to listen to as we're coming out of our shells and figuring out, where do we want to go? What do we want to do? How do we get there? I recommend listening to his. Another dancer, Agnes Muljadi, is an entrepreneur known as the Vegan Ballerina, and is sharing all of her successes and how she's creating the life she desires. She really is the epitome of her story is of people telling her no, and her saying, this is the reality I want to create. I'm going to create it. And she has, and she continues to. And she has her fingers and toes in so many things. And she has taken her training and dance career and just blossomed with it in so many directions. It's amazing. So definitely listen to her story. I think it's a great for us to hear how we can use our dance careers past high school, college, company life, whatever it is. That information, that whole life you spent doing something is applicable into the other side of the world. And I think that sometimes for dancers, it feels like, well, once I'm done, I'm done. That's a chop, isolation, never using this again. That's not true. And Agnes is a great example of that and how she's been able to carry it through. So please listen to that one. We had wellness professionals, like in episode 7, Dr. Wilson talked about what to do when doctors say take 6 weeks off, and how we can find health practitioners that we know are in our corner and what we should be looking for. The Point Shoe Fairy, Josephine Lead, shared how to find the perfect fit, myths to shoe fittings, and she just brought the glow of why we love her so much. If you know who I'm talking about, you know what I mean. Josephine is amazing. She is from The Point Shop, the owner of The Point Shop, and travels around the U.S. fitting shoes. She's amazing. She's so passionate. She's a very smart lady. I very much enjoy speaking with her, and she is super knowledgeable in all of her point shoe success. We had dance photographer Eva Neese sharing how to get the shot, which is so important as our portfolios are like now on social media, Instagram, whatever else you're using, having those shots and how to get them and what to be looking for and how to show up to a shoot and be ready to get the best photos you can yourself as the dancer, the parent, and the photographer. She's sharing all that stuff. I've talked a lot about mindset in episodes 3 and 11 for auditioning, for setting goals, for having competition in your life while still loving your fellow dancers and yourself. So I would say that mindset and emotion sneaks into every episode, but these two were specifically very much about how to set your mindset in the dance world. Episode 21, I talked with a client who literally broke her back and what it was like to have her get over this big injury, a little bit more detailed about working with me, and how her mindset is better now than ever before. There were episodes that I have not mentioned. Every episode really, I know that I recorded them, but I'm just so grateful to our guests. They are the ones that have just made this sensational, and I'm so excited. I already have some episodes lined up for season 2, but the honest truth, since this podcast is about me sharing things that I have never shared before, if you listen, there's quite a lot of things that people from my past have reached out and said, oh my gosh, Allie, I didn't know you went through that. I didn't know you experienced that. I didn't know that was going on. I'm like, yeah, I know. This podcast has made me very sherry and made me much more open in a great way, and a step that was needed. So the truth is that producing a podcast is a lot of work. A lot of people who have podcasts that go more than just a few episodes hire someone to sound engineer them, to edit them together, to do all the techie things. I do not. I do it all myself, and finding the guests and getting it all going. It is a labor of love, and I do it because I think this information is worth sharing, but it's a lot of work. And as I said, I had only planned to do 12 episodes, but I just couldn't stop. So I am going to take a little season break and come back with amazing guests and new gusto. And I feel like I've learned a lot about what you guys are asking for, what I can assist you with. Actually going through this whole COVID time has given me a lot of insight into what you guys need. Being so present on social media during this time and having everyone actually reaching out to these online communities, to people like me who've been doing virtuals for years and saying, what do we do now? How do we keep training? I'm like, guys, we got this. This is fine. So I've learned a lot, and I'm really excited to bring that into season 2 with you guys. So please know that these episodes are here for you. I say this because I have tagged episodes for other podcasters that I love. I actually have a little running list on my phone of ones that I think I'm going to want to come back and listen to this again. Or if the information doesn't seem quite pertinent for my life right now, but I'm thinking, okay, I know there's going to be some point in my life that I'm going to need this. I just have a little running notepad that has episodes of podcasters I love. And I recommend that for all of your podcasts and your books and your resources. Keep just a running list of things with a little note of what they are and why you think you might want it in the future. So these episodes are here for you. Pass them along as you're talking to your dance buddies, as you're talking to your fellow parents, and they're going through something. You're like, Allie's podcast, that episode, that doctor, that dancer, that could assist. That's what she's looking for. It's just assisting the fellow people. And that's what I keep saying as we pass things along, that the information that I have gathered, both as a dancer and as a professional mover, has been through grace of other people. It has been through that sharing of knowledge and collective information. So join the movement and share that collective information when it strikes the fancy. When you think, oh my gosh, this person really needs to hear Alex Wong talk. They really need to hear Dr. Wilson talk. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So as I take this Beyond the Point season break, know that I am still here doing all my things on Instagram. You are always welcome to reach out with questions. My courses are still running full bore. I'm still doing privates and still going in all aspects of business. So I'm really excited to have you guys back here for season 2. Keep your eye out for when it launches, and everyone have a happy and healthy break. For the last time of season 1, I will see you all next time on Beyond the Point.